All right, welcome to the Unnamed Cybersecurity Podcast. We have Matt with us today, which
Behold, I have made it.
Yeah, he was missing last week.
With dog. Which way is it?
Yeah.
There is dog.
Yeah. You were in El Salvador, were you?
Oh, totally. Someone paid the ransom. I'm back.
Awesome. Okay, cool. We got an interesting one for today. We're going to cover a few things. Recap a little bit of a breach that happened earlier in the year, some new stuff. But what's going on with you guys? What's exciting in your life right now?
Nice weather. Pretty out.
Okay, we live in the Midwest, of course. Anytime we get sunshine, we're happy.
It makes me sad when I'm inside during that, which is why there's a picnic table out there I can take my laptop to and pretend I'm not inside. So
the picnic table that I can go to, I'm probably going to get a tennis shot if I try to use it. So
well, I'm just glad my picnic table is still there after
that.
the storms we had last week, which is why I wasn't here after 3 days of power outages in the area. So that was a good time. But it did go to show good UPSs and generators and recovery procedures because everyone's good. It was good quickly.
There you go.
That's good. Yeah.
But did you, how long did it take for these people to get frustrated with it not being able to buy gasoline because the gas stations didn't have power?
I actually didn't hear much about that because at least with 3 days, we survived.
Yeah.
We just didn't hear many complaints. I was back in 24 hours. My parents were like 48 hours. The whole area was like 3 days. I think they're still 2% out. So 98% recovered in a week.
Hey, there you go.
Boy, that's the time you don't want to be part of the 2%.
You do not want to be part of that 2%.
That's rough. No. That is rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you?
Anyway, what's happening in the ransom space these days, Chris?
All right. You want to talk about what's going on in your life? I see how it is.
No. My life lately has been dealing with people that came along after they got ransomed.
That's fair. So, remember, we all remember Power School, but we probably should give a little primer on that, right? So, the end of December into January, actually, the incident happened in December, but in January, Power School is used by a lot of school districts. And if you go back to what happened, they had a support account get hacked. Gained access to all these school districts, stole a bunch of data, critical, personally identifiable information that you don't want somebody to have. Power School paid the ransom, saying they paid it so that nobody would have their data leaked. Oh,
that's nice of them.
Tell me when you've heard this one before.
I mean, yeah.
So now the hackers who did this are now going to individual school districts and trying to hit them with the ransom so they don't release the data. So it doesn't appear that the hackers deleted the data the first time. They just said
But they sent a video showing that they did.
Yeah, wasn't the CEO or president like on a Zoom call or something recording it, like saying, I trust that they deleted the data?
I think that was the one that was confirmed with a video.
Yeah. Well, they're criminals, so trust is only as good as. Anyway, I digress. I think it's hilarious.
But the record reported that at least 4 school boards were contacted, and I'm going to guess that these are probably large school districts, like incredibly large school districts. So this is something that, and what is it? What do you say it was? You only have till July to file for credit monitoring. What they were offering, I think it was something like that. Where you're only
free credit monitoring for a year with every breach is really helping. Obviously,
enroll by July 25th.
There you go.
Yeah. How about we stop the breaches from happening at some point because credit monitoring is just not doing it.
Well, and I haven't honestly checked up on like the number of lawsuits that Power School is probably facing for this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no number of lawsuits is really gonna fix this. I mean, yeah, they're going to lose some money. I'm sure their insurance will pay out or whatever, or they won't. But at the end of the day, we're sitting here, a bunch of kids' data is out there. Put parents' data too, teachers, other things, some medical information. It's just sad. It's like a never-ending story, and just shows that never assume that when you pay a ransom that's the end of the story.
Sure.
A lot of times it's just the beginning. So that's the first thing.
at this point in time, it's a negotiation with the bad guys just because they came along. There's nothing internally that the school boards need to be doing to protect themselves other than notifying that something's happening again.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's still incredibly sensitive information. And how many of these school districts are going to pay? And
Right.
but on the flip side, they've already seen that when they did pay, they didn't destroy the data. So, now we're sitting here, they're probably sitting there trying to make the decision. It's a no-win situation for anybody. It's better to be proactive about this stuff and try to limit this risk as much as possible internally, so this doesn't happen. And yeah, it still can happen, but just the way that Power School went down was just weird. Kind of irresponsible on both sides. Mostly, I blame Power School more, but probably shouldn't go there. But on another note, let's move on to Lockbit.
I'm like giggling here.
Ransomware gang they've had a rough year. They had their website taken down, part of their infrastructure taken down by feds. They got back up, but they've been around for a long time. So this is a ransomware as a service operator. They've been doing this for a long time. But their affiliate panel, dark web affiliate panel, got defaced and hacked, and they stole their database. And on the website, on the dark website, they put on the affiliate panel, don't do crime. Crime is bad. XOXO from Prague.
Makes me so happy.
And they linked to the database dump on their dark web affiliate website. They replaced it and put that on there. Here's some interesting information from that, though. They had 4,442 negotiation messages between December 19th and April 29th of this year.
4,000.
Yeah.
I wonder how involved each of those were, just curious.
Not entirely sure. But the fact they had 59,975 unique Bitcoin addresses.
Incredible.
That's incredible. And then they had build configurations. They had a table inside the database that contained different configurations used for each build. Such as when the ESXi servers, like they would notice VMware ESXi and they'd skip or files to encrypt for that. Just interesting. They had build tables. I mean, they dumped their entire table. They listed 75 admins and affiliates who had access to the affiliate panel.
Just goes to show how successful these people are.
Yeah. And Lockpick Sup, he's pretty much the guy at the top, the main operator. He confirmed the breach, but he said that no private keys were stolen or lost. So, yeah, interesting.
The hackers hacking the hackers. I mean, that could happen more often. They'll keep each other busy.
Well, and it's just kind of interesting, kind of funny. I don't think anybody's going to lose sleep over the fact that they had this happen to them, right? I have another one here too. This is good news. So let's talk some good news. Well, that's good news too, I suppose. There's a company that called it's not really, it's kind of a company. It was a hacking group called LabHost. And they had phishing as a service platform.
Mm-hmm.
So you could buy into it. They were one of the largest providers of phishing as a service in the world. They had a range of services for approximately 10,000 users. So this is pretty big, right? They can impersonate more than 200 organizations, including banks, government institutions, to try to trick people into clicking on phishing links. So the FBI took them down with help. Guess how many phishing domains they had? Like domain addresses, like URLs that they had.
5.
A lot more than that.
I know the number. I'm just being dumb.
42,000 domains.
More than 5.
Which is incredible to think about. They stored, their infrastructure had over 1 million user credentials and nearly 500,000 compromised credit cards. They just trick people into stealing.
42,000.
42,000 domains. I don't even know how you like that's got to be incredibly hard to manage. Just in general, but the FBI hadn't validated every domain. They put out a little alert on this, so it's pretty interesting. They recommend that any organization that can identify any activity related to the indicators compromised within their networks to mitigate and minimize impact. Of course, they do. If you find the report, they give you a little bit of. They don't really give you what the indicators of compromise are, but they tell you to report it to your local field office. But yeah, 42,000, they took them down. So this is pretty cool.
So so it was a phishing as a service platform that these bad guys could subscribe to for anywhere between $179 and $300 a month.
That was it? Oh, I didn't see the price. Yeah,
yeah, it's right there.
Man, you can make a lot of money when you're only paying $179, $300 for when you can impersonate 200 organizations.
It's efficient, really.
Yeah,
cheaper than rolling your own.
Yeah, you just got to trust somebody else that they're not going to do something to you, I suppose. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
So you said a million user credentials and 500,000 credit card records.
Yep. And that's what they found. Like, who knows how many they had maybe someplace else, like just on the stuff that they seized. I don't know if we'll know the true number for a while. It'd be interesting to see that as it kind of comes out, if they release more information on it or not. But I didn't see a DOJ that they're charging anybody yet. So it looks like they got access to it, but I don't know if they have all the people involved, or they haven't released those names or those indictments yet. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
A lot of organizations and countries work together to pull this off. Simultaneous searches at 70 addresses, 37 individuals, and 37 people that were suspected to have access to it.
I'd love to see like the operational video of that, like one on each screen, like you see in the movies with them knocking all the doors down at once.
They're probably sitting in a coffee shop. There's a lot of other news out there, but I think the thing we just want to talk about is you kind of have to do the right thing. You have data that somebody wants. At the end of the day, everybody does. Doesn't matter how small you are. Doesn't matter how big you are. Somebody wants access to the data that you have, and it's kind of like your responsibility to take care of that data, to protect it, especially if you have customer information.
So something happened this week on a call with a client. They told me that we were talking about securing their email platforms, and they told me that I was being overly protective and paranoid. And I'm like, are you crazy? You've got a lot of data. An email comes in, and this morning I was actually at an event that the county sheriff was there, and he made a comment. He made a comment that said, seeing violence changes you. And in our case, seeing all these cyber attacks changes all of us to really think about things differently. So.
But the odds of email issues and breaches from not locking it down are a heck of a lot higher than actually having a violent attack. I mean, it's not if, it's when. They're going to call you back in a few years and be like, whoops, sorry.
I didn't have the nerve to tell him that I actually worked on a case where one of the county prosecutor's office, one of the other counties prosecutors' email was breached that actually affected a law firm of ours.
Some irony.
I mean, anytime somebody tells me I'm paranoid, I ask them, do you think I'm flat earth paranoid or birds aren't real paranoid? That's how I respond. And then they look at me really funny. So they don't know how to respond to that. So people like to call people paranoid. And yeah, so I think what you said is true about, but you see it so often, you see it every day. And I think one thing that we got to be careful of is getting numb to it.
Yeah.
Right. So if we get numb to it and we don't talk about it and we just ignore it, we put our head in the sand.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. If you're ignorant to risk, it doesn't go away. It still exists. You can be ignorant to a lot of things, but that doesn't mean they aren't real. So it's hard. It's hard for.
And that's one of the big issues we have is, we're telling people that there's risks and things going on, and they do get numb to it. I don't try and say the sky is falling every day, but the sky is falling every day for a lot of these companies, and they just don't realize it.
Mm-hmm. That's preventable is a big thing.
One thing I got told a few weeks ago was stop being Midwestern nice, which I feel is a slap in the face. But
Midwestern nice? What is Midwestern nice?
Maybe you're not being direct about something and you're just being nice about it. So you're not trying to make somebody feel bad or whatever.
Is it like a Southern bless your heart where it's kind of an insult, but you don't really want to insult them?
Well, bless your heart has a new level of different level of meaning than Midwestern nice. What I mean by that, though, when somebody called me that, I was trying to make somebody feel better about a situation that was kind of bad. When in reality, I probably should have been telling them, being a little bit more straightforward with them, if that makes sense.
So it is bad.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've
always done. But I'll give you a hug.
Yeah, but sometimes people have to make decisions. Right, you present evidence to them, like risk evidence, stuff like that. And the one thing I catch myself doing all the time is I try to make it seem less bad than it really is. Does that make sense? Yeah. When in reality, I should just be straight with them, and I am straight with people. But like, I'm also not trying to sell fear, like fear it's already dealt with. Just sell FUD. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to show them the reality and the situation that they're in, and it's really tough to like do that. Because, I mean, if you have empathy for people, it's really hard to get over that and actually be that direct with somebody. So I personally struggle with it. But I also realize that I probably need to instill a little bit more fear in people to help them make a better decision and not trying to lighten that. I don't know how you guys are. Yeah, I mean, sugarcoating it doesn't make it better.
It's hard, though, because a lot of us tend to be people pleasers, and we're not trying to scare you, but there is a reality you need to be aware of to make good decisions. So it's like, oh, don't be scared, but oh yes, you're going to get hacked. So I
catch myself saying, I catch myself a lot saying, "This is bad, but I just need to stop."
No, but this is bad.
Yeah, that's where I stop. This is bad, right? Not this is bad, but it could be worse. No, this is bad. Yeah. So, hey, we're all human here. We all struggle. We're just trying to help people at the end of the day. We're trying to keep Matt in the United States and not kidnapped, which apparently he gets kidnapped all the time. So,
well, at least you have insurance for that.
That's fair. But
I'm not worth much.
Jeez. Your father, you're worth more than you think. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, comment down below, message us. If you have a situation that you've ever experienced one of these breaches and you want to talk about it and you want to be anonymous, we'd love to talk to you and just kind of share your story, your pain in a way that helps people, not a way that like outs you. Because I feel like
we will say this is bad, but
this is horrific. But we're just here to help. So if you need help in your business, contact any of us and we'd be more willing to help you.
Cool.
See you next week.
Guys.
Well, in 2 weeks we'll get to see each other, right?
Yeah, we'll be at
2 weeks. Yeah.
Nashville. We'll be in Nashville, the security convention.
Yeah. Well, don't tell people that. Now they know we're gonna be gone. Where we're gonna be. Why'd you do that?
Kidnapped and taken to Nashville.
Okay. All right. Have a good rest of your week.